I didn't know that was a job.
It is.
I don't believe in all that. Devils and possession.
According to the internet movie database imdb.com, the show Evil, which currently has a rating of 7.7 out of 10 from over 15,000 votes, centers around the story of character Kristen Bochart, a young clinical psychologist played by Dutch actress Katja Herbers. Kristen teams up with a priest in training and a local contractor to investigate alleged miracles, demonic possessions, and other extraordinary supernatural events. Kristen's ultimate goal is to determine whether or not the incidents have a scientific and clinical explanation, or if these cases are something genuinely supernatural and more sinister. Kristen is a staunch skeptic, and as she delves into these cases, her entire belief system is put through the ringer. So today, we're looking at the show Evil, and things to remember before watching Season 2. You do not want to miss this list. Before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with the notifications on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. First up, we'll discuss how this exciting new series starts off. In the first episode, viewers saw the Catholic Church hire character Kristen, a clinical psychologist and atheist, to work with David Acosta, a priest in training played by actor Mike Coulter, and a Muslim contractor named Ben Shakir, played by Indian actor Asif Mandiv. Together, the trio embarks on an unforgettable journey to discover the truth behind some really shocking cases that are sure to test your faith or lack thereof in all things supernatural. In the pilot episode, the trio must determine if a demented serial killer is simply psychotic or if he is possessed by a demon. It's during this episode that Kristen develops an interest in the work, and she is hired on by the Catholic Church on a permanent basis. Next up, we'll take a look at the second episode of the series. In this episode, Kristen, Acosta, and Shakir investigate an alleged miracle. After 17-year-old soccer player Naomi Clark, played by actress Hannah Hodson, is declared dead, she comes back to life 2 hours later. Later in the episode, Kristen heads back to the Queen's District Attorney's office, where she runs into her former boss, District Attorney Louis Cormier, played by actor Denny Burstein, and Dr. Leland Townsend, played by Michael Emerson. It's important to note that the show's creators, husband and wife writing team Robert and Michelle King, have a proven track record and are responsible for shows like The Good Wife and its spin-off, The Good Fight. Many have wondered if the creators are related to Stephen King, and although they are not, they have cited King as one of their biggest influences, along with David Lynch, the Marx Brothers, and even The Dick Van Dyke Show. Up next, we'll look at the very creepy third episode of Season 1. In this episode, the team investigates the case of an eccentric theater producer, Byron Duke, who, although is known for being demanding and hard to work with, appears to be going way over the top, even by his standards. Duke's employees can't take his terrible and erratic behavior anymore, so they call on the trio to investigate the matter. After one of Duke's employees sees him sweating blood from the back of his head, they become even more alarmed. The same whistleblowing employee also told the trio that in addition to Duke's horrible behavior, every time he walks into a room, the temperature in the space gets really cold. The employee suspects that Duke is possessed by a demon. Also during this episode, Kristen goes after her rival Leland Townsend after he unjustly tries to ruin a 17-year-old boy's life. She's so disgusted by Townsend's behavior that she does everything in her power to discredit him, and thankfully, she succeeds. Next up, we'll look at the fourth episode of Season 1. In this episode, Kristen, Acosta, and Shakir are commissioned to investigate the frightening case of a 9-year-old boy named Eric, who is prone to violent outbursts and believed to be psychotic. Kristen must determine whether or not the team is dealing with a bona fide case of psychosis, or if there is something of a supernatural nature taking place. Despite Eric's disturbing behavior, the team feels confident that they'll be able to take him out of the darkness and bring him back into the light. This particular case has a profound personal impact on Kristen, as she is a mother to young daughters. Recently, Kristen's daughters lied to her about playing a gory video game that their grandmother secretly purchased for them. Up next, we'll take a look at the fifth episode of Evil's first season. This undeniably spooky episode takes place on October 31st, Halloween night. Kristen and the team are called in to investigate what is possibly the most severe case of demonic possession that they've ever seen, or a case of severe mental and physical illness. Also, during this freaky episode, Shakir goes on the show Demon Hunters along with his friend Vanessa, a hardcore skeptic and denier of all things supernatural. Together, Shakir and Vanessa use their airtime to try and debunk the supernatural events of various cases. Next up, we dive into the sixth episode of Evil's Season 1. In this episode, the Catholic Church enlists the help of the team to investigate the claims of a local clairvoyant named Grace Ling, played by Chinese actress Li Jung Li. Ling is incredibly incredibly bright, gifted, and routinely has visions of an apocalyptic and prophetic nature. So the team is sent in to investigate Ling's claims and assess her credibility. Of course, they are skeptical at first, but when they see one of Ling's premonitions take place, they are shocked to their cores, and the issue of Ling's credibility is put to bed. Also in this episode, the character Acosta, played by Mike Coulter, becomes jealous when he learns that God is having conversations with Ling. At the end of the episode, viewers are shocked to learn that Cheryl, Kristen's mother, develops a romantic love affair with Kristen's rival, Leland Townsend. Kristen is troubled by the news of their relationship. Up next, we look at episodes 7 and 8. In the 7th episode, the character Bridget Farrell, played by Annalee Ashford, is being exorcised and makes a disturbing murder confession to the team. When Kristen and the team report their findings back to Monsignor Korecki, he orders them to search through the case files of open homicides and cross-check the details of the cases with Bridget's confession. In episode 8, the character David Acosta carefully examines his father Leon's artwork and finds peculiar, mysterious signs in the art. David suspects it may have something to do with his family history, and he asks Kristen to travel to a strange art commune in the middle of nowhere to try and learn about the bizarre symbol's secrets. Next up, we'll look at episodes 9 and 10 of Season 1. In episode 9, the character Caroline Hopkins, played by actress Karen Pittman, sues David Acosta for participating in her exorcism. David doesn't take the news well, and he starts to question whether or not he still wants to be a priest. And when David develops a romantic relationship with his lawyer Renee Harris, he begins to question life in the priesthood even more. In the 10th episode, the show explores the dangers that social media influencers have on millions of young and naive followers. It's a socially relevant theme that is of great concern in these modern times. The team is also asked to investigate a bizarrely addictive and dark Christmas song that is spreading among students. The song appears to have some sort of sinister meaning. Up next, we'll look at episodes 11 and 12. In episode 11, David recovers in the hospital after he was attacked while coming out of his church. Somebody was creeping David on the internet prior to the attack and is believed to be an unhinged person who was the subject of an exorcism. While David struggles to recover in the hospital, a dark, ominous presence surrounds him. In episode 12, Leland Townsend struggles to have the conviction of serial killer Orson LeRoux overturned, and Kristen is called into court to testify. Kristen struggles to focus on the witness stand because her mind is consumed with the thought of her daughter Laura's impending heart surgery. After recovering in the hospital, David Acosta goes to help a woman in need of spiritual care and guidance. But David's visit with the woman takes an insidious turn, and David becomes afraid for his safety. He sees obvious signs that the woman is consumed with an evil presence. Up next, we'll look at the season finale, episode 13. In the final episode, the show's creators really upped the ante in terms of creepiness. The team is called in to investigate the case of a woman pregnant with twins. The woman alleges that one of the twins is evil. This case leads to the shocking discovery of a shady fertility clinic that the team subsequently connects to all of their previous cases throughout the entire season. Kristen is troubled to learn that one of her own daughters was a patient at the same clinic and fears that evil may be inside of her as well. Finally, you are now caught up on everything you need to know about Season 1 of Evil and are ready to binge watch Season 2 of this shocking and thrilling show. Thank you for listening and watching. Please click like and subscribe to our channel. More exciting and informative videos are on the way.